89.3 FM.
Surely in the family, God is with me. Surely in the family, God is with me. Surely in the family, God is with me.
And we're back in this our final segment for today. Real talk for real men. We're on Awesome Radio, and we're also on Facebook under Awesome Radio. And we thank you for tuning in. Um, Let us continue. We've been talking about. I guess if we wanted to put a topic on what we talked about, so far, I guess we have to say that. We're talking about living a good life in an evil world, making a good life for yourself in this evil world.
Despite all the things.
Yeah,
Despite
yeah,
them.
despite everything, and it's possible because of the power of God. It's possible to live a good life in this bad world, just like. It's also possible for us to live a holy life in a body that wants to do bad.
Mm,
It's kind of like a parallel there,
that's good.
because God gives us His Spirit, and His Spirit dwells in us. So now we have a spiritual option that is more powerful than the pull of our flesh.
Mm,
And when we get up every morning to go forth in our lives, if we choose to follow the Spirit, as the scripture says, walk in the Spirit, and you won't fulfill the lusts of the flesh. And just like you have that spiritual option personally, there's also the Spirit of God moving in the earth. And those who get with the move of the Spirit of God can have a good, godly life. The Greek word for it is Zoe, the God kind of life, even though we live in this evil world. That's amazing.
it is. It is. And that's why when you read what David talks about in Psalm 37, fret not.
Yeah.
Do not fret because of evildoers, nor be envious of the workers of iniquity.
Can I ask you a question? Can I make a point right there?
Mm-hmm.
Why would anybody be envious of the workers of iniquity? But you see, David is addressing that because obviously there are some people that see what evil people do. I mean, you can see a bank robber and see the money that they get away with, and you can be envious of that. Oh my, I should be a bank robber.
Well, but see,
He's telling you, don't be envious of that because it's not going to end well.
well, and like I always say, this is the old man David.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because down in there, 25, he's like, I was young, but now I'm old.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this old man done seen some things.
He's seen some stuff, experienced some stuff.
But that second verse says, for they shall be cut down.
There you go.
They shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither like the green herb. And the thing you said, why would somebody? I remember being young in New York, being a teenager.
Uh-huh.
And you see the guys on the corner, the guys with the big car and the knot, and you don't have nothing, and you're looking at it as a way to be.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And people don't think, that you're a model because kids are looking at you.
Yeah, that's right.
Young folks are looking at you. That's why Charles Barkley, when he said that, he didn't know what he's talking about. I don't know, yeah, you are, even though you don't want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, people see that and it ain't just kids. You the grown folk working hard, and then you see a guy that ain't working hard, and he got a whole lot, and how he get that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where the fretting comes in. That's where the word, man, I should have that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so Yeah, it's temptation.
Yeah, one of the things that I've learned is that there are many paths in life. But before you choose one, before you step into any path, look as far down that path as you could possibly see. Because just because it looks good when you start, you need to see how this path ends.
It's hard.
It
I
is.
think that's a hard thing because where you are in the moment, a lot of times people make decisions because of where they are
In
in
the
the
moment.
moment,
Yeah.
and they can't see down the road.
Gotta look. You gotta look.
I
And you
know
gotta look
I agree
hard.
with you,
You gotta look
but
hard.
a lot of decisions are made in the moment. I was telling somebody, and this was just the situation was where it was. We was at a restaurant, and my brother got, and I'm gonna do this because the way people were treating him, and he was right, they were wrong, and he wanted to make a move.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna call the manager, and and he had to do that to me a couple of weeks before that. But my point was, while you're angry, is not the time to make that decision.
That's right. That's right.
Calm down before you make a decision.
As a matter of
And
fact, any kind of emotion, you got to be careful making decisions when you're in the midst of emotion. You know.
that's right. And that was the point. And so a lot of times people make decisions in their emotional state.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing right now. I need something. I'm hungry. I'm this. I'm that. And you make the wrong decision. And people play on those emotions. People see you
Yeah.
when you're in need. They come at you with,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, you need something, so you need to do this, and then if you do this, I'll give you this, and we see that in the temptation of Jesus.
Yeah.
You hungry? Why don't you turn them stones into?
You know
You can
you're
do
hungry. Why don't you go ahead? You know you're hungry. You know you got the power. Why don't you go ahead and do it? But this is why I like to advise younger people, whether you young because you're a teenager or young because you or young adult or middle age. Make it a habit in your life to talk to older, experienced people. Because like you said, when you're in the moment in a situation, you don't take the time to look far enough down a certain road, a certain path, or a certain choice to see how it's going to end. Because it's not how you start. It's not how that road starts. It's how that road ends. A lot of times, you may not know nothing about what you're in the midst of, but if you spend a lot of time talking to older people, you will hear a lot of experiences that will help you in your moment of decision. You see what I'm saying?
That's right. That's
Because there are
true.
a lot of old people that already done took the bumps and bruises, that's already fallen off the cliffs, that's already been through the storms.
Mm-hmm.
And when they give you their story and you see how they got into it and how it became harm to them and how they got out of it eventually, it teaches you a lot about, what, this does feel good right now. But I remember that Aunt Sue told me that she was in this situation one time and she stepped into it and told me a lot about the pain and suffering she endured because of her choice. And so I know that even though I'm feeling real, real good, this is not a good way to go because of Aunt Sue.
Now, with that, a wise man. That's a wise man.
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
take wisdom. But then there's
The
other
fool.
folk that'll hear that and see that and still don't
Just
take it.
because it happened to you don't mean it's going to happen to me. Yeah,
You know who
you're
came to
right.
my mind just then is that young brother from the basketball player, Jay Morant.
Ja Morant. Yeah.
John Morant.
Yeah.
Yeah. It came to my mind because
Yeah. I'm
you
sure
had
there's
to
some.
have seen, and
Yeah.
I'm sure some older brothers have spoken to the brother, and you've seen before you,
Yeah.
people that have gone down the road, and yet you keep going down the road.
Doing-
And you
Yep.
know, it's funny. I was in boot camp with a guy that kept messing up. And you know, when you mess up, they make you exercise.
Oh yeah,
Make
yeah.
you, and there was one guy. Well, we looked at him sometime. We said, man, he gonna be strong when he get out of here. He keep when you keep doing the same thing, you're gonna keep getting the consequences until you get it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, and
And
so,
life has a way of doing that to you too.
yeah,
You know, life has a way of whipping you into shape, you know? But learning lessons, being able to learn from your experiences, you know, that's a big deal. You could almost classify that as a gift. If a person, if he mess around and touch a hot stove and it burns him, and he puts that in his memory bank and said, "Look, whenever something is hot, I'm going to be cautious."
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But there are some people that will get burnt over and over and over again. How does that happen? Maybe it didn't hurt bad enough the first time that you got to keep going back getting burnt over and over and over again. So
My when I was young, I was about six, well, 5.5, 6. I was in the house with my young aunts. They were just about to graduate high school, and my middle aunt, she's something else. I love her to death today. But I remember one day, and my grandmother was in there too, and they were ironing something, and she had plugged the iron up, and she told me, "Put your hand on it and see if it's hot." I'm trusting.
yeah. And see, that's that.
And
That's
then I
that.
did it. And my grandma said, y'all oughtn't do that. But she was laughing too. She wasn't laughing out loud, but I know she
Yeah,
was.
you
she
want your
was-
kids to learn, but I don't know if that's the best
I
method.
know, but they were young too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I said, Lord,
that's
and I
wild right
took
there.
my hand. I said, but I know not to do that. But it's like we do that in life. We touch the iron.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I know it happened to them, like you said.
yeah,
But not
One-
me.
one of-
I can get away with it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, see, one of the things that when I look back over my life, when I was a young adult, just got married, I was in a situation. I'm married, and got a household I'm responsible for, and I needed some money. And I went to a finance company. When I saw the interest rate, that was a check. Wait a minute, that is too high. That's 20 some percent interest. But I needed the money. When you're in the moment and you need what you need, and that $500 would have got me out of my situation. See, I wasn't looking down far enough to realize that, yeah, but it's going to get you into another situation. But when I got through paying for that, and I looked at what I borrowed versus what I paid, I repaid more than twice the amount that I borrowed. And that thing got to me. I mean, here I am. I graduated in finance. How could I be doing something that's silly?
Ain't that something?
But the reason finance companies make so much money is because people see finance companies as a quick fix, and they never sat down long enough and think about it long enough to say, you know what, there could be a better way.
That's
And
right.
one day I did that. I sat down and I said, there's got to be a better way. And I went to a bank, and because when it comes to credit, it can be complicated. Because even if you sometimes you don't have no credit. Sometimes you have credit, but it's bad credit. Sometimes you have not enough resources for anybody to believe in you. But I went to a bank one time and I told them, I said, look, I'm a Christian. I pay God 10% of my money for tithes. But when I borrow money from a finance company, I'm paying all this. I said, is there a possibility that I could borrow money and not pay no more than I'm paying God, 10%? And he said, yeah. He said, and he told me the criteria, the things that go into that equation. But he said, here's something that most people don't know. For instance, if you go to a car lot and you want to buy a car, they're going to charge you a lot of interest because they make interest on the car and on the car they make interest on the loan and they make interest on the car. But if you go to a dealer and you get what's called dealer financing, if you could talk them into giving you dealer financing, whereby the car lot will agree to take the car back if you don't make the payments. That way the bank don't lose nothing. Then you might could get 10% or less. And this was back when interest rates were kind of high during those Reagan years when things got jacked up. But he taught me that and showed me how to do it. And I made it a commitment to never pay high interest again. I always try to keep interest under 10%. I don't care what kind of loan it is. Keep it under 10%. Don't pay people back that much money.
Right.
You know,
That's
but a
good.
lot of people, but they keep making money off people who never even take the time to even think about it. So I hope there's somebody listening to this that might, sit down and consider, I'm going to stop using finance companies. Banks are there. They got a lot of money, and you might not think you qualify, but there is a way you can qualify. Why don't you go talk to them and find out how you can qualify?
That's right.
Find out how. And it may take you some time to get to that.
Yeah.
But at least don't just keep going back into a deep hole, At least try.
That's good. That's good. That's wise information.
Yeah. You want to.
And people go to get to that in the moment, and that's where
It's a quick fix.
that's why this situation is pushing people into that.
Yeah.
It's pushing people into that, and I'm glad these folks are talking about healthcare, because that's a big deal.
That's huge, man.
That's huge, and the people go bankrupt
Yeah.
because of the health they can't afford.
Yeah.
And these people are just cutting out everything for folks that, and they're not. It's not like these are folks that, I hate when I hear this thing about able-bodied men that are getting benefits that can work, and y'all must be out of your mind. Most of the people that get SNAP and all that stuff are working folk.
Yeah.
Most of the people that are dealing with these healthcare issues are working people. Yeah. People that they call them the working poor. You know what I'm saying? But these folks are folks already working. Yeah, and I don't understand why. Well, I guess I do understand too, because you got people in charge that don't live this.
No, they never lived it.
Never lived it. And guy talking about groceries that's never been in a grocery store.
Yeah, most of the people that are in Congress leading our country are people that have had generational wealth. And it may not it may not even be millions and millions. But to a poor man, if you've always been a household where the income was $200,000, that ain't millions, but that's still a big number to the poor man.
And these are people that are making decisions for people without health care, yet they got health care.
That's right. That's right. They're gonna always, if it ever come on the table about their health care, you can be guaranteed that they're gonna be 100% leaning in to making sure they keep theirs. Everybody's gonna be voting to keep theirs. But when it comes to, the little fellow out there, the one that if we go to war, these are the people that you call on to go fight your wars, because those generational wealth folk, they don't go. Typically, they don't go. So, but.
And we just passed Veterans Day. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to be nice towards the end of the show, yeah.
Yeah, we right to the.
It's fascinating. You brought up, that's a big deal, man.
Oh, yeah. And then especially when you consider how when they come back, they have such a hard time struggling to get the things that were promised to them.
And a lot of them,
and it ain't that much in some cases, but that was promised. They have a hard time getting it.
And a lot of active duty and military folk use SNAP.
Yeah.
They use SNAP. And then SNAP also helps the farmers. That's the way it was designed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but anyway,
well,
we gonna live in this system. We gonna be like Daniel, and
we're going to learn how to prosper in it. Real talk for real men on Awesome Radio. We've enjoyed you today. Hope you enjoyed us.
You're listening to our newest edition of the Awesome Radio Network, WNOS, 1450 AM and 102.3 FM.